WGNS Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner here on this Saturday morning. Glad you're along with us as we welcome in the coaches here on this Saturday. It's the quarterfinals that we're talking about here this morning for most of our coaches. MTCS Cougar Corner. Yeah, we're talking semifinals for the Cougars here today. So a lot to get to this morning. First of all, I guess we should talk about the Jennings at Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard and how things went last night for our local coaches. Well, our broadcast game, we went to Mount Juliet with the Oakland Patriots, and that game did not disappoint, at least for our local fans here, of course, of the Oakland Pats. Oakland went to Mount Juliet, come away with a 24-2 victory over Mount Juliet. The only Mount Juliet score was a safety. Would have been a shutout for the Oakland defense, and all intents and purposes it was. Oakland defense played very well in that game last night. Oakland winning that one 24-2. We'll talk, of course, to Kevin Creasy a bit later on this morning. We'll give you the Coaches Show rundown here in just a moment for you as well. All the coaches that we'll be talking with here on the show. A little bit of a different lineup here today, so hang in there with us as we get ready and geared up for that here this morning. All right, rest of the scores. Riverdale a winner, 42-21 over the Cookeville Cavaliers. That was kind of a wild one for those who were at Bill Watts Tomahawk Stadium last night. Cavaliers fall to Riverdale 42-21. And that, of course, sets up the Battle of the Borough quarterfinal matchup, Riverdale and Oakland next week at Phil Watts Tomahawk Stadium. More on that in a few. Ravenwood defeated the Smyrna Bulldogs to end what was really a remarkable season by Smyrna. They rattled off 7 in a row before finally losing their final game of the season after losing their first 4. Really a remarkable season by the Bulldogs. 38-9, the final score. Ravenwood moves on. Moore County 35, Eagleville nothing last night. And it was MTCS, a victor over FACS. Final score 56-28. MTCS is moving on to the semifinals in Division II Class Single A. They will be playing on the road next week. Tell you about that coming up here in just a second. So that leaves 3 teams alive for the playoffs. November 17th schedule. Riverdale versus Oakland. So they'll be at Riverdale in the quarterfinals in Class 6A. At MTCS is at Columbia Academy in the semifinals in Division II Class Single A. And with Riverdale and Oakland playing each other in the quarterfinals, and with MTCS in the semifinals, that does mean that for the 29th year out of the last 30, so dating back to 1993, we have had a Rutherford County team in the semifinals, at least in the semifinals, playing. So we've had a semifinal team or a team that won the semifinal and got to the championship game, or not only got to the championship game, but won a championship. And of course, Oakland has won 3 in a row. They would like to win 4 in a row, but Riverdale would like to get back there and win another. And MTCS would like to win their first. So we'll see. MTCS could win one, and Riverdale or Oakland could win one as well. So we'll have to see what happens. But others could spoil their party for all of the above. So we've just got to see how it all hashes out. So I promised a look at the schedule this morning and how we're going to work things. Riverdale will be first up here in just a couple of moments, and around 8:20 or so, we'll talk some Smyrna football at 8:40 or around that time. They're talking Oakland football this morning. And after that, or around, I would say 9:10 or so, maybe just a little after 9, we'll talk Eagleville football, and then MTCS Cougar Corner will follow around just before 9:30. So that is a look at your Jennings and Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard and schedule for today. So why don't we get the show kicked off? John's going to get us going here, and I'll wrap up the program today. So, as we say, let's get it started. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro. The coffee's flowing, the donuts are going, the sausage biscuits are here, and we're ready to go here on the Coaches Show. So stay with us. We'll be back after this break. John will join us and talking Riverdale football next, right here. Stay with us.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
When Rutherford Countyans think of insurance professionals, they think Rayburn Insurance Agency at 200 South Lowry in Smyrna, meeting the needs of thousands of customers since 1973. You can trust Rayburn Insurance with all your needs, a place where customer service really matters. It's personal with Rayburn Insurance, as fans of local sports, as friends, and as insurance professionals. Check them out at rayburn.net or call 615-459-4145. Rayburn Insurance, for business, auto, home, and life insurance.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coaches Show is brought to you by Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces. That's right, online at mullinsjewelry.com. And this portion of the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, John Dingens here, and Coach Will Kreisky joins me. Winners over Cookeville last night, 42-21. And, Coach, I guess when you get in the playoffs, you better be ready to expect just about anything because anything can happen.
That's right. Cookeville's a good physical team. Ever since I've been the head coach, we've, had really physical battles with them. I've played them when Coach Maynard's been the head coach, and now they got a new head coach, and he's doing a really good job. They're big and physical. I think they kind of found their identity later in the season, lining up in heavy sets and running their quarterback. Their quarterback is a really big kid, 6'3", 210, and he's a really physical runner. Yeah, I think he's rushed over for like 1,100 yards this year. They were getting 3 yards at a pop, and I think we both got a series in the first quarter, and it was already over. And it was 7-7. But it was a good football game, and our kids responded well, and I'm proud of how they played the second half. And
their game plan, I guess, was run it, control the clock, and for a lot of the portion of the first half, they did do that.
Yeah, they did. They did a really good job of doing that. And, Isaiah Verser called a 54-yard touchdown pass right before half as time expired to put us up 21-14, and which was huge because then we got the ball coming out of half.
And boy, isn't that great when that happens, a late score, and then you're gonna get the ball when the second half starts, and still kind of a slugfest, and really the game. I guess you could say Thompson with the interception really kind of sealed the game for you because not that it was in doubt, but it was still close.
Yeah, we were just still up 14 by that point. And, his interception got us up 21. So that was huge. It was a 70-yard interception return. They just recovered an onside kick. Our guy had it. They kicked 2 onside kicks. We were 1 for 1. The first one, they did a good job recovering. The second one, it bounced off. The kicker made a great kick, and it just bounced off the kid's chest. And he went to get on it, and they got on it first. But then 2 plays later, Jalen Thompson intercepted that 72-yard pass. So it was good. The kids kept fighting. We talked about it in there a while ago. For the last 2 weeks, it's been the toughest 2 weeks for us as a coaching staff, and I'm so proud of all my assistants and how they worked and how they kept their kids focused because all everybody's talked about is a rematch.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and we had 2 games before
right.
This game. So, we've had, they've seen it all on social media and this and that. But, I'm proud of the assistants and how they handled their players, their position players. And I mean, I can't brag on my staff enough because it's been a tough 2 weeks, and they kept the kids focused. And again, it don't matter who you play in playoffs. This is going to be a tough game.
Let's talk about the staff real quick. I'm getting off subject a little bit, but offensive coordinator, I mean, the offense is clicking, and they have been, and it seems like, of course, I go back to the early games and a couple of losses, but to be honest with you, those were really tough opponents, and you can see that now as the season has progressed to this stage, how good those opponents were. But Braden Graham has really just caught on another year. Another full year has really helped that young man.
Yeah, it has. Again, Coach Barnes and his staff on the offensive side do a tremendous job, and they get these kids prepared every week. Coach Barnes and Braden's work side by side all year long, and they do a great job communicating with each other and working each week to put a game plan in. You know, again, Coach White, I can't brag on him enough as how he's done with the offensive line. And, you know, we got Coach Odom and Coach Pelchat and Coach they all work really well together to get the offensive skill positions going, you know, and keeping all those guys satisfied. I talked about a few weeks ago, we only got one football and got a lot of skill kids, but they all are, again, unselfish players, and it's a tribute to the assistants and how they get their mentality and keep them fighting and keep them encouraged each week.
They have seemed to find a way, though, to get all those guys the ball in some way, shape, form, or fashion, hadn't they?
Yeah, they do, and they do a good job getting the ball around and sharing it. And again, the kids are unselfish and encourage each other. And I've said it before, they celebrate more when someone else makes a play instead of when they make a play.
It's really you can tell, and you know, the team concept is there. You can tell that they're rooting for each other. Braden was 22 of 28 for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. The kid just continues. What impresses me, and I read the article like everybody else did about him, but his completion percentage this year is uncanny, and how few interceptions that he's had over the course of the year. Don't want to jinx him, but I mean, it's been that kind of year for him.
Yeah, he's had a really good year. Again, that's a tribute to the assistants, the other players, the receivers, the running backs, all of them. They all work together. They throw and catch the ball every day. They run routes every day. They practice hard every day. And the way they practice as translated to the game field, and you can see that with all of them and how they play well together.
I think what impresses me so much about them is what they do once they catch the ball. It's not just catch, I'm down, here we go. It's something exciting usually happens once they get the ball in their hands.
Yeah, they do a good job yards after catch, and you know, when they catch the ball, they're at least, you know, most of them's going to get 4 or 5 more yards, and you know, that's, again, move the chains, move the sticks, and get us in positive field position.
Back to the game a little bit. I know it was 14-14 for a good while, 7-7 for a good while. Did you feel like the kids were getting a little frustrated that they weren't able to get the ball? I mean, they weren't able to get the ball back, and these long drives and that kind of thing. How do you keep them focused and know, hey, it's going to work out?
Yeah, that's with the seniors that we got. Didn't see much of a panic going on last night. Again, we've played a lot of tough games this year, and they believed in each other and believed in themselves, and they just kept fighting. And they know if they go hard and keep fighting, good things will happen.
You had Brock Montgomery with 6 receptions, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a special kid. DJ Taylor, who continues to be a workhorse in the backfield, he had 60 yards, and then Jalen Thompson, a 72-yard interception. So let's look at the defensive side of the game too. It seems like somebody's making a big play each and every week.
Yeah, they all are. They're all playing well. You know, Traylon Davis, in the middle linebacker,
yeah,
you know, he's playing exceptionally well, making plays outside on the perimeter and making plays inside. And, you know, Joseph Guzman does a great job too, you know, making plays inside and the interior. And all those guys are fighting hard. And Ryan Edmondson has really come on defensively and playing exceptionally well for us. And it's really helped us. And, you know, the secondary's playing good and playing together. And, you know, we're rotating different guys, and some of those guys are playing both ways. And, you know, we're throwing in some other young guys at times to help us. And it's been a good mix, and they all stepped up and contributed in their role.
And when you talk about Ryan, he's a guy that used to have to play quite a bit of offense, you know, in terms, but now he's able to concentrate on what I think truly is his calling is defensively, and the offensive line. You mentioned them and how they have matured over the years, and that's such a great thing to see how they've come around and kind of gelled together. And that takes, and you go back to coaching staff, that takes a lot of work on the coaching staff.
Yeah, it takes, a great deal of work to get those guys to work together and fight for each other and believe in each other. And, those guys, those assistants spend countless hours away from their families working with those players to make sure they're successful on the field on Friday nights. They spend a lot of time in the film room with them early before school, after practice, meet with them individually. So, again, that's a good tribute to what they do each week and each day.
Talking to Will Kreisky, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors. Winners last night, 42-21 over Cookeville. And when we are talking about Cookeville, and it's a difficult trip, and it's not terribly far, but it's a difficult trip in a kind of a different environment there.
Yeah, it is. We were fortunate that I came to Riverdale. Because that trip.
You want to stay away.
Yeah,
from Cookeville.
Especially after daylight savings. Time change and that trip and everything. I mentioned it last week, 2017. We went down there and they handed it to us. I don't think we handled the trip well that year. But again, we were fortunate where they had to travel to us. So it was good for us and good for our players to be able to play another home game.
And a good crowd, I take it, last night.
Yeah,
there
was a really good crowd there. A lot of the student section was packed and fans were going nuts, and it was good playoff atmosphere.
Isaiah Verser has played offense. He's done special teams. He had 54 receiving yards and a touchdown run. A big play at the end of the half. That kid is very versatile. I mean, he can do a lot of things, punt returns, whatever you need him to do.
Yeah, Isaiah does a good job for us. He rotates in on offense. He comes in, he plays all the special teams and does a good job on the kickoff return. When the ball's in his hand, he can make special things happen. And, I was pleased again with his effort and what he did last night. And, that touchdown before half was huge. He made a good catch and made a kid miss. And, 54 yards later, he scored.
Now we're going to have to go to this next topic here in a second. I'm trying to slowly get to it because I'm sure you've heard it. And one thing about social media is so difficult because you don't really have any control over that. As a coach, the outside forces coming in, it makes it tough, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And, social media and everybody's talking this and that. And, I try not to pay much attention to it, but I know the kids do, and the kids see it, and, they all have social media, and they're on it 24/7. So, it's been hard to keep them away from the social media aspect the last few weeks. Well, I haven't talked to you since the win against Oakland there. Now, honestly, what do you expect? I mean, I just think it's going to be the same type of game, and I think, it's going to be everybody's going to be prepared and ready to go. But a lot more at stake, I guess. But the fact you won the region has kept you at home, and you're going to have that as a home game on Friday. Yeah, we get a home game Friday, and they have to come to us, and that's from winning in the regular season. But yeah, like you said, it's a lot at stake on next Friday night. Playoff game, and one of us is going to win, and one of us is going to be packing up our pads and putting them up for the year. And again, it's going to be a tough physical game. My kids know his kids. Coach Creasy and his staff do an excellent job, and they've been working and getting better every week since last time we played them, and they're doing some really good things. And they played a tough physical game last night, and his kids are going to be ready to go next Friday night. They want payback, and it's what else do you ask for this time of year? Riverdale, Oakland game, third round with everything on the line. And I'm telling you, you guys better get there early if you're going to plan on seeing that game, because I know it's going to be packed. And I asked you to helicopter me in, but I don't know if we can get that done or not. I'm not that special. But, you kind of know what to expect, too, with Oakland. I mean, and they know what to expect of you. And I think that's what makes it so great, because you guys, like you say, you know each other so well. So anything different that you expect from them, or really, I think it's just going to be knocking heads and let's go. Yeah, it is. Coach Creasy's going to do a great job what he does, and Coach Watson's going to have the defense prepared, and they're going to be really good, and they're going to change some things up, and they'll be successful. And we got to find ways to counter that. We got to come into practice and get ready and work and work really hard and
pay attention to details and really work on special teams and make sure, everything with special teams is 100% because, this time of year you got to win all three phases, and special teams will be the key part of that game, next week. So, we have to make sure we're ready to go.
I know this time of year everybody has some little dings and dents in terms of personnel, but you seem to be relatively healthy going into this game on Friday.
Yeah, for 13th game, I think for the most part, we're sore, from last night, things like that, some bruises, but we should have everybody ready to go next week.
Honestly, I really wish this were a semifinal game.
Yeah.
I mean, this happened to us many, many years, where two teams that quite possibly the 1 and 2 teams in any order you look at it, and we have to have a loser in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I felt like back in 2020, I thought that was a 1 and 2 game, and that was a tough physical quarterfinal game that year, and we played them close up to the very end, and we just have to keep grinding our kids just to believe in each other and keep working together because they're only as strong as they are together.
Well, have I made you nervous enough? No, I'm kidding. But
there'll be a lot of sleep.
you just don't have to worry about it till about 3 more weeks.
That's right. I hope so. Yes, sir.
It'll be over. But congratulations on the win last night, Will, and good luck next week. And I'm going to say the same thing to Oakland. But anyway,
I appreciate it. Just give him a hard time for me this morning.
I'll do my best if he'll let me. Okay, and go out there. It's going to be I'm telling you, this really is a game that you're going to see. We saw the one at Oakland, and if it's anything like that one, it's going to be great. So this portion of the show, thank you, Will. This portion of the show brought to you by Ideas Tees, who'll be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com. And when we come back, I think we're talking to Smyrna Bulldogs here on the Prentice Allsup Heating & Air Coach's Corner. Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
One Hot and Ready Classic. We actually changed it with...
What? You've changed, Little Caesars. You've changed! You've changed! Ah! Tell me why.
It tastes even better because we added 33% more pepperoni.
Give me one of those.
Little Caesars Pizza in Murfreesboro. 4 locations: Memorial Boulevard, South Rutherford Boulevard, Old Ford Parkway, and Warrior Drive.
Walk in and walk out with the new Hot and Ready Classic with 33% more pepperoni.
Pizza.
Parks Auction. We handle everything.
You have a staff that comes to your home. They tell you what to do. They walk you through it. It's been my experience that what I thought I should get for my home, I got much more for it.
Visit our website at parksauction.com.
Hi there,
Parks Auction, 896-4600. Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
Fast response if the power goes out.
An app that keeps me informed. Tips to lower my monthly bill.
Communication on things that matter to me.
Done, 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 done.
I want to know everything.
Everything? Well, young lady, let me show you the MyMTE app. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. What are some of the advantages that Carpets by Osborne has?
Being a family business and being locally owned and operated, we do free estimates. We have our own subcontractors that work for our business. We will come out, look at your floor covering. Throughout the whole process, you deal with an individual. You're not passed off to different contractors. We handle it from start to finish.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
Whether you're a student, alumni, or just a fan, Raider Tees has exactly what you need to help you cheer on the Blue Raiders on game days and every moment in between. We sell officially licensed Blue Raider gear, whether it's clothing, hats, flags, chairs, or just whatever. We have it all, including exclusive gear you won't find anywhere else. Like us on Facebook for updates on new Blue Raider gear and special prices or discounts. For all your Blue Raider gear, shop Raider Tees today. Bigger, better, and go blue!
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of this Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. John Dinkins back with you here, and we have head coach Matt Williams of the Smyrna Bulldogs. And Matt, I know you're disappointed in the game, and we'll talk about that game. But overall for the season, I'm going to congratulate you on really a terrific coaching job by you and your coaches.
I appreciate you saying that, John. Yeah, very disappointed. Our standard at Smyrna High School, you know what it is, and that's something we've tried to get back to. We expect to compete for state championships, and we felt like last night was the opportunity to keep moving. And you had the bracket, and was stacked in our favor as far as being at home, and a disappointing loss. But once we have time to process everything, we'll come back and see the good in this season. There was a lot of good, and I am proud of the kids for being able to turn around a situation that could have become, disastrous. And so, got to be thankful for the things the good things, and I am. And but yeah, it is sting. It's hard to get beat in the playoffs any time, and I just didn't feel like we played to our potential last night. And a lot of that had to do with Ravenwood. Ravenwood's got a good football team, and you got to give them credit. But I thought we sort of had a different team out there last night than we had the week before.
And when do you sense that, Matt? I mean, because they played so well, and I know you had an injury and a big one, a key injury to Thomas, and that had to make a huge difference. But at the same time, do you know that in your gut sometime during the game? I said this isn't the team that's been playing like they've been playing.
Well, I think it was apparent early because our whole focus going into the game, we really, we spent a lot of time talking about the last time we played Ravenwood and the last time we played them. We were our own worst enemy. I mean, it wasn't anything Ravenwood really did last time. It was us giving up, having penalties that took a touchdown off the board in the first half and giving up a kickoff return after half the last time we played and giving up 2 70-plus yard runs last time. It was explosives. It was just explosive plays. And I think we went down last night, did a good job, had a big throw from Austin Morris to Jonathan Messer for a big gainer and got down there and actually had run the ball, I think, around down to the 2-yard line and tried to hurry up, get back on the ball and punch it in, and one of our linemen, false started. So that had to settle for a field goal there. So that was an indication to me that, we can't beat these guys with field goals. So that was one. And then we kick off to them, and on their very first offensive play, they run a reverse for, I guess, about a 65-yard, 70-yard touchdown. And not saying at that point I didn't think we could beat them. That's not what I'm saying. But, we had already sort of nullified everything we said we couldn't do in a number of just, 2 series.
And they've got a sophomore quarterback that has really kind of come around for Ravenwood, but so has yours. I mean, you've got. I know you feel good inside about the improvement that kid has made from day one, and we were there for the first game, and to the last game that we saw, which was the week before at Smyrna. The difference is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't say enough about Austin Morris. And his mom approached me last night and thanked us for, how we coached him and whatnot. But, I told her he's such a good young man. And I don't think, and I mean this, I don't think in my time as a coach, not just as a head coach, but as a coach, period, that I've seen a kid make such a big improvement from, not game one to now, but from the spring to now. It was just astonishing to see, how much better that young man came. And, I knew it was going to take some Friday night experience. I knew we were going to take some lumps with him. But the thing about Austin was that made us keep believing was his approach and how he approached practice. And you could see the kid wanted to get better, and you could see the kid was a tough kid, man. I mean, he's super tough. He took some big hits this year, and he didn't miss a snap, and was always ready at practice, one of the first ones out there every day. So, we were lucky and blessed to get him, and I just can't say enough about Austin Morris. That kid's got a great character about him, a great competitive spirit, and he's one of the biggest reasons we were able to turn around on a 4-start.
And I thought there was a big difference in his confidence level from the day one to the game we saw, and it's just, isn't it strange how you can practice and practice and practice all you want to, but until they get out there under the lights on Friday night and have that experience, that it's really a struggle unless you can get that experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. He started with tough when we started our game on with Riverdale, so that's obviously a tough team. And you can see the first couple, 2 or 3 games, as soon as he would get pressured, his eyes would fall down, and he would look to tuck and run. And it finally came to a point there, probably about the Laverne game or so, or somewhere in that vicinity, where he would get pressured, but he just, he would step up in the pocket and make throws. And he's a huge reason why we were able to win a region championships this year and did things we did, because you look at, there's a string of games there, I think either 2 or 3 in a row, where we had to make a final drive to win it, and Austin was a huge part of that.
We talked. You mentioned Messer had 2 catches for 76 yards. That's another kid that had a good game, and it's just really good to see. It defensively got beat by some big plays. Let's take a look at the whole year as a whole, though. That defense was pretty solid most of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we got better, I thought, and it's all spurts. I told people coming in this year, I thought our defense could be a strong suit if we had 2 or 3 kids come along, and felt like that was the case. I think we had some really, really good games where we were played some complete defense for the most part, and had some kids step up and do a good job. And you had seniors up there like Aiden Dickens. Aiden's a kid that started the last 2 years, and I think I said last week, he's not going to blow you away with his measurables or his speed or any of that. But, I told him last night there's not a better example of a Smyrna Bulldog, than Aiden. And then you got Kay Carter, kid that played quarterback, JV quarterback, and tried him out as a linebacker in a few spots. I think we tried him at inside linebacker. And finally, he got a little bigger in the offseason this year. And I said, let's just put him down because, he'd be a really quick lineman, and Kay's a tough kid. He did just a phenomenal job for us. So he was a big part of that as well. And there were a lot of games where Kay stood out and helped us, thrive as a defense. And Shane Hedgepath, the guy we had to move inside the linebacker. He did a really good job for us, and had some good games. And Michael Robinson, Colin Andrews, Cyrus Satterwhite. We had a lot of seniors there that were contributors and that did a really good job and helped that defense, get better throughout the year. And, I think there's a lot of plays we'd like to have back, but overall I think that group got better.
We're talking to Matt Williams, the head coach of the Smyrna Bulldogs. And just to mention a little bit about the seniors, this is always a tough time of year when you've had your last game, and you got to say goodbye to those guys that you've had for 4 years. And it's kind of a melancholy. It's just kind of rough. You want to talk about how good a year and a good year that you had, but then the sadness of knowing you're not going to see those guys on a regular basis anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's they come in as, wide-eyed freshmen, and, you just get to see. It's like watching your child grow up.
Yeah.
It's like you think about it, and it's such a short time. I think, you get a little bit older, like we are, and you know how quick time goes. And I tell them that now when they come in as freshmen. I tell them, look, you're going to blink, you're going to be done here. And I don't think that, and just like, I was the same way when I was a 15-year-old freshman. I probably didn't think that was that way either, but you blink and it's gone. And so I try to impress upon them the importance of making sure they make every moment count, and in their preparation and how they approach becoming a better player. And it does go by fast, and it does make it makes it sad. It does. And there's finality to it, and that's what I told somebody last night. There's only going to be one team in every class that's going to end the year on a happy note. Everybody else is going to be defeated and downtrodden. But there's a lot of things. Again, I told them last night, there's a lot worse things in life. We know that, and that they're going to learn lessons from this. It's going to help them later on in life, and help them get through things when they go through tough times. And that's the stuff I try to impress upon them. It's, we lost the football game last night, and it was disappointing, but it's going to serve you well down the road when you encounter tough situations.
And those little wide-eyed freshmen you have, and you see them now as seniors fixing to go into life, and the things they've learned from football, really, it can't be described. It's we've seen it in so many years that of coaching. I know you have, and Coach Creasy and everybody on this show. You're more proud of what kind of young men they become in the long run. I mean, that's the big picture.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we take it very seriously. I think every coach is, our country is at a, sort of a odd point in history, I guess you would say, and it's becoming not okay to be a man, and we try to talk about what a man is, and having compassion, caring for others, taking care of others, and being responsible men, and try to impress upon them all those lessons and things. And we're in a society now where it's almost shamed upon to be a man, or what we think of as a man. And we spend a lot of time talking to them about that, and it's probably not what people are thinking. It's not. I'm not talking about being a man like beating your chest and being big and bad. I'm talking about being somebody that's going to take care of your family and be a good father, a good husband, and those things are important. And being leaders in the community and being a positive example and all those things. But hopefully we've impressed some lessons upon them on that, because I do. I want to see those kids come back in 5 years and be able to ask them what they're doing, and hopefully they're doing something productive and being good citizens and productive citizens and good fathers, good husbands, all that kind of stuff.
Well, they all come back, because I've seen it so many times at Smyrna, and I want to kind of end this a little bit on a higher note in terms of you've got a lot of things going on at Smyrna. You've got a new a building being erected, and a lot of great things are happening. And I was sitting in the press box, and I see those houses and the apartments that are behind you guys, and I go, wow, this is really a beautiful. I mean, it's almost kind of a beautiful scene back there behind you, and it makes it kind of like you're in a little bowl. And what a great venue to watch a football game. It's just a beautiful thing, and you're getting some new facilities, and I know that a lot with your administration. Gosh, they're 120% behind you all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed. Dr. Sutherland starts with her, everything does, and our administration, all our administration, are very supportive, and teachers and staff, and I'm excited about where we're headed. We do expect to compete for state championships, and I know our fans. They're just as hungry as I am to get back to that, and that's what we're fighting, scratching, and clawing to get back to. And I think our new facilities will help that, and I think we do have a lot of big upswing in the directions where our high school's heading. It's impressive. I sort of smile every day when I walk. I go right into school, and you see that new weight room, that new facility going up, and it's going to be impressive. And a lot of great things that Smyrna High School has to offer. We have great teachers, we have great academics. And I speak about this. My child went there. My son is a Smyrna High School graduate and thrived academically, and made it 30 on the ACT. So you can there's great things at Smyrna High School, not just athletically, but academically, and our Cambridge program, and just a lot of things to be proud of. And I do think we've got a great little community. I think it's one of the few, and I know I'm biased and I may be wrong, but there's a community feel to our school and to our program, and I think that's something special and maybe sets us apart a little bit. But I'm excited about where it's going, and we've got a lot of things this off season. We'll be we're going to start on Monday in the weight room. I'll be honest with you. It starts now as far as preparing for next year. And that's just how it is as a coach. And I told somebody the other day, I obviously love being a football coach, but when you win a big game, you get to enjoy it for about 15 seconds, and then your mind goes to the next game and preparing.
Yeah, it's and I guess really there isn't really downtime in a way, because y'all are constantly having something going on, and like you said, working with the weights and that kind of thing. So, but at least get a weekend, okay? Will you do that?
I'm going to. I'm headed to the hunting leash right now.
There you go. Hey, one more thing before you go, Matt. Do me a favor. Will you call Sonny Gray and tell him to go to Atlanta? Okay, can you do that for me?
Yeah, I don't know how much influence I'll have on that, but yeah, I'll do it for you, John.
All right, Matt. Have a great rest of the year, and we'll see you back next year. Okay.
All right, John. I want to thank you all on WGNS for all y'all do for local sports. We really appreciate it.
All right, Matt. Matt's Matt. I forgot his name, didn't I? Matt Williams, yeah. I knew that. But I'll tell you can't find a better man than Matt Williams, that's for sure. And that's going to do it for this portion. But coming up, we've got the Oakland Patriots, and we're going to be talking to Coach Kevin Creasy. This portion of the show brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Cal Bowen to do the job right. They're located on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Brian, Dalton, and John will be back in just a few minutes.
Pizza. You can now order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. We've made ordering online a breeze. From sirpizzatn.com, tap on the location nearest you and begin your order for carryout or delivery. You can order the Royal Feast, create your own, spaghetti, calzones, everything right from our online portal at sirpizzatn.com. Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Franklin's Printworks has been in Murfreesboro for over 25 years. We are a full-service commercial printer, everything from business cards, brochures, booklets to banners. My name is Jeff Carlton. I handle sales and marketing for Franklin's Printworks. We hear a lot people who have been working with printers on the internet, had issues, and they know that if we're working with someone local, that A, they know where to find us, and B, they know that we'll take care of it because we have to take care of our neighbors. Our website is franklinsprinting.org.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're here at Rick's Barbecue catching up with Anne Marie Brents, who tells us not only do they have barbecue, smoked chicken, loaded baked potatoes, but the slaw dogs are out of this world.
I do love the slaw dogs. People are like, is that a big sausage? I'm like, no, it's a deep fried hot dog. And the slaw that we put on them is a spicy mustard slaw. It's actually really good. I like to dip it in white sauce.
Rick's Barbecue has awesome deals to feed the entire family.
We have family packs, and it can feed 4 to 6 people. We have a picnic pack, which is the family pack doubled.
Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
So what if your roommate decides to microwave a metal mixing bowl and sets your apartment on fire? I'm State Farm Agent Bud Morris. Auto, renters, frankly, any kind of insurance. I've got your back. Call me at 615-893-1417.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose. You'd do anything to protect your kids. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton, and it's important to protect them with life insurance. I can make it easy and affordable for you to protect your family.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. You can find out more at CraigsTaxService.com. John Dinkins back with you with Coach Kevin Creasy. I remembered his name. See, when you get to be my age, Coach, you know, I'm up there 66, 67. You do start to, you know, I do believe you lose a little bit, you know, but I've known Matt Williams since he was a little kid, and the last name goes blank. That ever happened to you? Tell me it does. Some.
All the time. All the time.
Well, you had we talked about it before you came on the air. You just had a weird game. 24-2 win over Mount Juliet, and I say weird because some weird things really happened, and you guys persevered, and I thought a really hard-hitting game, and I thought your defense played exceptionally well. They played a good game. They had a good game plan, and some unfortunate events got it a little maybe tighter than it should have been, but it's one of those games I feel like we kind of had them, pretty much the whole game. I didn't feel that pressure of, oh no, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. They lost one of their better players, running back, a couple weeks ago, and then unfortunately, like the second quarter, they lost their second, running back and one of the best players. So yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job considering two of their top players were out, and still kept the game real close, and I think it's 10-0 at halftime, something like that. But yeah, it was sloppy at times, and kind of ugly at times. But I can't blame them for the game plan, and they stuck to it and gave herself a chance. And credit to our defense. Our defense bowled up time and time again, made way too many mistakes, and especially on third downs. But those things are all fixable. So you got to give a lot of credit to our defense for playing with such great effort.
They had a pretty good first drive, and they got down and they fumbled, which was a big help, and you put 3 points on the board. But after that, the adjustments you guys made as a coaching staff, they were pretty limited what they could do on the ground.
Yeah, I think like I said, the first drive went past midfield, and like I said, credit to our defense. We stripped the ball away. The next drive, I think we may have had an interception. Right before half, I thought we had an interception that we had a foot down, and we weren't getting that call on their sideline for sure. But they had a couple times where we've dropped interceptions, so we had a lot of opportunities. Even though they were a run-heavy team, we had a lot of opportunities to have interceptions and turn the ball over, and sometimes we took advantage of it. Not quite enough to make us happy, but like I said, we played a road game that sometimes it's tough to kind of get the old momentum rolling, and as soon as we get it rolling, there'd be a penalty or there'd be an unfortunate event for us to where we snap the ball over our punter's head, which is, just terrible this time of year, or can't convert a fourth down, or we jump off sides on offense, just shooting ourselves in the foot. But I don't believe in ugly wins. I think they're all beautiful, and just some are just prettier than others, and this one's not that pretty, but we'll take it.
And again, perseverance. I mean, there were so many things that happened, and there was a lot of roughing the passer, and then there were a lot of personal fouls called. And I'm not going to talk about officiating. I don't expect you to too. But I'll just put it this way: I didn't see the same thing they were seeing. So that's the way I'm going to put it.
Well, they threw a lot of flags there in the second half. So, I think it was pretty even in the first half, maybe 4 penalties to 3 or something like that. And then it got skewed after that, but a lot of it was our fault. And, like I said, there's things that we've got to get fixed to make sure that we're not in that situation again. But, there's always things that,
And that's memories of Mount Juliet a few years back when you won the state, and there was a tough game down there. It almost felt like the same kind of atmosphere, really.
Yeah, I love their atmosphere there. Their field's beautiful, great atmosphere for football, huge jumbotron. It's like brand new. But yeah, they do a good job of getting in there and making life rough on the visiting team. I think that's awesome. And like I said, they do a good job as a coaching staff. And so, they were just, one hand tied behind their back because of the injuries. And, this time of year, that's part of it. We had a couple starters out as well. But, hopefully eventually we'll be getting those guys back.
Coach, you had some really standout performances. Caleb Ellison, 13 tackles, 3 for a loss and a sack. You had Norfolk had 10 tackles and a sack. His name, we mentioned it all night long.
Right.
Gus Ramsey, maybe one of the biggest plays of the game, a forced fumble and a fumble recovery to go along with 4 tackles. And, of course, Corey Smith being Corey Smith.
Right.
8 tackles and a fumble recovery.
Right, yeah. Gus Ramsey, I tell you, went on a couple safety blitzes and was able to cause some disruption and made some big plays. And then, like I said, Quentin Norfolk grew up in Mount Juliet, so he was wanting to get back and see some of his old buddies, especially in the backfield. So that was pretty neat. And then, you got the combination of, like I said, Corey Smith and Caleb Ellison. Those two have been doing it for us all year.
I was glad to see Ashton Jones have a good game. He had 71 yards, and he was sick, I think, at the Riverdale game, so he didn't get as many carries as he normally does.
Right.
But he really complements Dwan really, really well with both of them in the backfield.
Yeah, they're a good 1-2 punch, and like I said, I just breezed through the film real quick this morning, and the best thing I noticed about both of them is when one of them has the ball, the other one's blocking.
Yeah.
And you don't always see that with some offenses, I guess. But, if you're made out of the right stuff and got good character and care about the team, you definitely do more without the ball sometimes than you do with the ball. So those two, they're definitely, kind of the secret potion to our success on offense.
Well, I want to mention one other guy, and I call him King Tut because I love to watch that kid play.
Right.
He plays with reckless abandon and had a good couple of big runs, and of course he's really good with special teams. Anything you ask the kid to do, he does it.
Yes, and had a good punt return, almost had a big interception, and had some good runs right there at the end. But, we're going to try to get him involved more and more in the offense too. He's a guy that's fresh and definitely has a different gear and has great vision, great hands, stuff like that. So definitely future looking bright for our backfield, but at the same time, I think all 3 of them can contribute.
We're talking to Kevin Creasy, head coach of the Oakland Patriots. Winners last night, 24-2 over Mount Juliet. And, Coach, I really saw the team, and you've always kind of preach the team concept, but gosh, you could really see it last night in that game, and particularly defensively. I mean, they were all over the place, and like you said, if you look at the game, you go, well, there were some mistakes, but boy, the heart there, and to make up for anything that they did wrong, they turned it around and just really played well.
Yeah, I think penalties gave Mount Juliet like 4 consecutive
60
first downs.
yards, I think.
Yeah, straight. So, it put us on the 1 yard line, fourth and goal from the 1, and our defense held up, and I thought they did a great job. And I think they did great all night. And like I said, it was a hard-hitting ball game. Between Mount Juliet and Oakland, there's always a hard-hitting ball game, and I thought it was a testament to both defenses, and I thought our defense showed out a little bit more and did a great job of pretty much, the shutout.
Kyler had a great throw, and Mount Juliet made a great play on a pass, and it was I thought it was a great call at the time of the game. And just basically that guy just grabbed it right at the last second, just tipped it.
Right.
But boy, that was a heck of a throw. It's good to see that.
Yeah, backed up, inside your own 15. A couple years ago, we threw that same pass to Isaiah Horton at Siegel. And
right.
I think it went for like 90, and this one had a chance too. And like I said, we feel like we should at least come down with it. Maybe not score a 90-yard touchdown, but at least come down with it. But I think Mount Juliet's DB came up and punched up underneath it and knocked it out of his hand. So that was a couple shot plays that we had that we didn't connect on. But, those things, a lot of times, it's feast or famine with those kind of shots. But when the defense gets aggressive, we try to go over the top. And, like I said, we got to have guys come down with that ball.
It seemed like the third quarter was dominated by Mount Juliet, and because you all scored on the second play of the second half, and then the penalty situation there and getting down the field, but that took up a lot of time, which I don't know that it helped them because you did hold them, but it did take up a lot of time in the ball game, and I thought the offense played pretty well last night.
Yeah, not a lot of mistakes except for a couple false starts. I thought they were at critical times. We had a 3rd and 2 that backed us up, and then we had I think it was maybe a 3rd and 4 that backed us up, and maybe would have went for it one more time on 4th down if we didn't have a delay game. So there was a few self-imposed penalties that hurt us and ended up missing the field goal and that sort of thing. So we had some opportunities scored that we didn't capitalize on, and you do that against a Riverdale team, and you will get beat.
Well, you knew I was going to bring it up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any sense? It didn't look like that they were looking ahead at the game last night, but Will was telling about fighting social media, and they're all, a lot of them are friends, and they get on there, and is that a distraction, you think, for them, or are they pretty focused?
Oh, it's got to be. I saw Will when I was climbing up these stairs, so he was talking about how everybody's been thinking about the rematch ever since the last game, and our guys are no different, and we've been trying to tell them, hey, Gallatin's good, Mount Juliet's good, and I'm sure he's been doing the same thing. So it is teenagers we're dealing with here, so a lot of times they can't keep the noise out, especially like you said with social media or whatever. So I'm sure everybody's been trying to anxiously anticipate this rematch, but at the same time, we both had to get here, and like I said, I had some good teams in our way on the way. So, like I said, it's here and should be a packed house.
Well, it was 22-21, and I think everybody's expecting a similar type game. They bring a lot of weapons to the offensively, particularly in skill positions, and you guys have to be ready for that. But I still think I'm the old believer of it's won in the trenches, and that's what's going to happen in this game coming up Friday.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game just like it was last time. Hopefully we can keep it close. Like you said, they do have so many weapons, score so quickly. They scored, I think it was 25-24.
Oh, okay.
And so they scored 25 and a half. So if you do the math on that means they could scored 50 if they played as good as they did in the second half. So we got to make sure they don't do that. And, they were able to get the receiver Montgomery the ball more, right there at the end. And, glad they didn't do it earlier because, like I said, it could have been a whole lot worse. But it's a tough task whenever you got really good receivers spread out all over the field. And, of course, they got a really good quarterback and throw in a couple running backs that they can, put in at any time. It definitely makes it hard on the defense. And then I think the D coordinator's always done a good job and always defended us pretty well. And it made life hard on us as well. So they pretty much shut us out in the second half except for one drive. So, credit to the defense when they had to make stops. They did, and then made a play to beat us, and that's why we're on the road.
And Coach, it's like kind of the all for the marbles thing. I always feel like it's a shame that we're doing a quarterfinal game with two talented teams like this, and not that we can't ever get two teams. It would be really nice. Maybe that's selfish of me, but I really think it's really a shame that we never get that opportunity.
Well, that's when I was at Riverdale, that's the one thing that I was like, man, would this not be neat if we played Sonny Gray in the state championship game, and, we're beating up on each other. And at the time, Smyrna, Riverdale, were in the same region. And that was unfortunate because a lot of times the best games were, between those two. And now, it's kind of the same thing here. But, that was kind of the problem when I got here, is like it was such a big game between, Oakland, Riverdale, or Oakland, Blackman, that sometimes fourth round game might have lost its luster a little bit. So we definitely want whoever comes out of this game to continue to represent our town and our county, and represent it well, and remember that there's still two more ball games after this big matchup.
I don't know if anything's made of the home situation, but the stadiums look alike, and the crowds are going to be big. Your crowd's going to be really big. But I just guess you'd have to tell everybody to get there early, because that's what we did at Oakland, and we barely got in that one. So I think it'll be the same here.
I guess they got the same construction going on that we do. I'm not sure, but I would imagine it's real similar. And you better get there early, that's for sure. And I mean, that's what this town's been looking for, a Riverdale-Oakland matchup when it counts and when it matters, and when everything's on the line. And so why wouldn't you go out there, Riverdale fans and Oakland fans and everybody in between that loves them and hates them, and they should all be out there watching the game. That's what third-round matchups are supposed to be like.
I wish, we've talked about this years ago about Riverdale ought to root. If you go on to other games, Riverdale ought to root for you. You ought to root for Riverdale. And those kind of things. I'd like to see more of that in our county, a little bit more. I think we get too caught up in community, and here we go, this is my team, blah, blah.
Right.
But
yeah. And like I said, eventually it's going to be Murfreesboro against Chattanooga, I guess, somewhere around there. And maybe Murfreesboro against Brentwood or, Memphis or something. You just never know. So, at the end of the day, one team's going to come out representing Murfreesboro. And like I said, I hope one of us does it to the best of our ability. We both got good teams, and one of us is going to be done on Monday, and the other one's going to keep going. And like I said, hopefully represent us real well in the playoffs.
Well, we know it won't be Maryville.
I noticed that too.
I'm shocked, but it won't be Maryville.
I'm surprised too. And like I said, there's a lot going on in football. So, sometimes injuries add up, and sometimes things that usually happen don't happen, and that's why you got to buy that ticket. That's why everybody needs to make sure they're there next Friday night.
Well, go out and see. It should be a tremendous football game. And, Coach, congratulations on the win last night, and good luck Friday.
Yep, appreciate it.
All right, that's Kevin Creasy, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. The Battle of the Borough 2, I guess is what we call it, coming up this Friday night, and WGNS will be carrying this game. And this portion of the show brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at CraigsTaxService.com. Coming up, it's Floyd Walker and the Eagleville Eagles. Brian will be joining us now.
Hey y'all, this is Lakin Hibden. I'm a mortgage loan originator for F&B Mortgage, a department of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, located on 322 North Front Street in downtown Murfreesboro. When you're ready to purchase your new home or refinance the one you have, I'll make sure your home loan process will move along smoothly when you put your trust in me. With attractive rates and a great solution that will fit your lifestyle and budget, F&B Mortgage is your hometown lender. Visit my website, lakeandhibden.com. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 401715.
Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injured victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com. Time to talk Eagleville football this morning. Floyd Walker is our guest. And, Coach, you ran into the buzzsaw of Moore County last night, didn't you?
We ran into a really talented, really well-coached football team last night. We probably didn't play the best that we could possibly play, but we just go ahead and compliment Moore County for the job that they did. They came out, they executed, did what they're supposed to do, or what any good football team does, and we didn't match them. So our hat goes off to them. We'll wish them the best of luck representing our region the remainder of the way, and we'll just let this one sit with us for a little bit, and then we'll move on from
it. That last one's the toughest one that has to sit, though, isn't it?
It's the toughest one that you have to sit because, at the beginning of the year, you try to tell every kid that, this team is just this year's team, and every year, every team is going to be a little bit different. So when you start to lose seniors that have been with your program for 4 years and has established friendships and brotherhoods in the locker room, that's what kind of makes the last game of the year kind of tough to sit there and watch kids, hug each other, cry with each other, and imagine what the thoughts must be going through not only the senior's mind but the underclassman's mind who's losing a friend that won't be in the locker room day in and day out anymore. That's one of those challenges that we'll embrace, we'll deal with, we'll talk about as we go through the off season, and we'll start getting ready to build for next year's group.
Well, I know the morning after is still awfully raw after it happened just the night before, and having this come to a region opponent. But I guess you kind of know that going in Moore County, you knew a lot about Moore County, obviously, because you played them in the regular season and knew that was going to be kind of an uphill climb, and you had to play the perfect game.
Yeah, we had to play well. We knew we had to play well. We had to try to limit big plays. We had to try to limit turnovers, and we weren't able to do either of those things. We'd have some drive going. We'd have some momentum take place, and we'd either have some type of mistake or some type of miscue, and it would set us back, and we just one of those nights we just couldn't overcome it. So again, we're not gonna take anything away from Moore County. You can always say if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. But Moore County's a good football team, and they came out and they executed a lot better than what we did, and they were able to go ahead and win the game going away. So we'll learn from it from a young player's perspective, and we'll just try to move on and get better from it.
Well, I know that it's never easy, but you've done this a long time. But there are always tears at the last one, moms, dads, seniors especially.
It is, and we talked about it last night. I think Mr. Dinkins and I, we talked about it on a previous show. It ends for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could win a state championship, you could win a national championship, and a group that's on that winning team holding that trophy up, the realization is you're going to take that uniform off, and it's going to be for the very, very last time. So it doesn't matter whether it happens now or whether it happens at the state championship game. These moments are going to happen for every athlete. Some kids going to move on to college, but the fact that they're going to take off their high school uniform for the last time, it's still going to be extremely emotional and extremely challenging for them. So you feel for those kids because you just know what they put into it after watching them for so many years, and you're just grateful that you had an opportunity to be part of the journey with.
Well, you know, it's the last time maybe ever that they put on a jersey, and you know, it's for the most part, it is the last time.
It is. It's the transfer portal has created that for high school kids because colleges now don't recruit as many high school kids as they used to because they can get into the portal and they can kind of get people that's been in the weight room, that's played games and that are ready to play, and you can help them win now. So it's starting to limit the amount of kids that's going to get scholarships, and that's unfortunate for some kids because some kids deserve that right to go on and further their careers. But it's going to happen, whether at the high school level, college level, or the pro level. It happens eventually, and it's something that emotionally you just have to be able to deal with.
Yeah. Rob Gronkowski was in town a few weeks ago and got to see him, and you know, his pro days were over. He was in his 30s or whatever, but it ended for him, and I'm sure it was an emotional decision. Yes, he was a 30-something-year-old adult to deal with that differently than a high school kid, but you know, it happens, and you have to deal with those things. It's going to happen in life. Something is going to happen that you're going to have that chapter ends, you move on. So this is something.
And it goes back, and it's what we try to talk to our kids about is you have to understand who you are. A lot of people know a lot of kids because they play football. So I asked a kid, I said, okay, tell me about yourself. And they'll start off my name, my grade, what school I go to, I do this, I do that, and I try to get them to understand, now, son, that's not who you are. That's what you do, you know, and you got to find out who you are. I mean, you know, are you a good son? Are you a good brother? Are you a good classmate? Are you believing in Jesus Christ? Well, I mean, what are you? You have to find all these things out about who you are. Don't let athletics define who you are, because once it's over, you'll be lost. And I think that's what happens to a lot of athletes because you've been attached to this sport. Everything that is known about you is because of this sport. And when it ends and people are not cheering your name or people are not writing about you or talking about you, you feel like you're irrelevant. So, I mean, it can be depressing. You know, for some, I'm sure it's happened to some of the pros, but we always want to make sure that our kids know who they are and whose they are. I heard that from my sister-in-law, Kay Martin. She tells her kids, just remember who you are and whose you are, and if they do those things, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, very good words there. We've got Floyd Walker joining us, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles, and you know, you're a football coach, but you're more than just a football coach, right?
You have to be. You have to be. These are not college kids. These are not pro kids. These, you know, are 14 to 18 or 13, some of them are even 13 to 19-year-old kids that you're dealing with. So they're highly impressionable. They're looking for somebody to believe in them. They're looking for somebody to give them guidance, and that's what we try to do at our place.
Coach, you mentioned seniors, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but just kind of talk about your senior class and the legacy that this group is going to leave behind, and kind of look ahead to the future of Eagleville football here, if you can.
I think we had 9 seniors this year. We had, of course, Kate Pippinger, Dawson McCrary, Nick Scarletta, Joseph Williamson, Jeremiah Broyles, Elijah Ferns, We had Will Becker. I'm trying to think. I know I'm going to leave somebody out, and I apologize. Had Jake Wood. Jake Wood came to us, and I should have probably wrote him down so I wouldn't.
Well, it's early, and that's why I said I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Well, I wouldn't forget about him, but it's one of those deals. You ask him about that, and it makes you think, dang, they are gone.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, too, that I always try to remember. You're not just losing the kids, you're losing the parents, too.
Right.
And they've all got great parents, and you form relationships with their parents, and when you see the parents, you're always excited to see them. You're excited to greet them because you know that they're such good people and they're raising such good young men. And I told our kids last night, you're living in a world where everybody talks about there's nothing good, there's no good people, but we got good kids. We do. We got really good kids. They're really respectable. They say yes, sir. They say yes, ma'am. They're thankful and grateful for everything that you do for them or anybody does for them. So if you don't think that there's good people out there, come visit with our kids and just sit down and talk to them.
Floyd, here's the thing at Eagleville, too, though, that is really unique, that a lot of our schools here in the county, there are only just a few that I can think of that have this ability to be able to do this, and those are our private schools. You get to see these kids when maybe they're in elementary school, putting on the helmets and pads that they can barely even carry down the field, and then through middle school and, freshman JV and all that, and then on to your high school program, and you get to not only be with those kids, but those parents all through that process. Now, maybe not directly as the head coach, but you get to see and be around them and see the quality of kids and parents during that time, too.
You do, and you see the support that the kid has at home, and you understand that kid he's got people that are highly invested in him at home, and that's where it starts. If the parents are invested in him at home, the parents are setting good examples for them at home, makes our job a lot easier. And we've been very, very fortunate enough that we've had extremely, extremely great parents over the years that have done a super job of raising young men, and we can't be more thankful for that.
Well, I know the Eagleville community has to be awfully proud of this year's Eagles program, and let's kind of project ahead and look ahead. I know that you build a program. You kind of what is it? Reload and keep going, right?
Reload, reset, re something, but We'll take a couple of days off, a couple of weeks off, and we'll let these kids bumps and bruises heal up and give them some time to just go be kids and spend some time with their family and their classmates. And we'll start getting back together in the weight room, just trying to build some cohesion first. That's what we'll try to do in the off season, and then we'll go into Christmas break, and we'll wish everybody happy holidays, and we'll come back in January and get back into the off-season conditioning program and start preparing for spring. But it's also, again, at our place, it's a deal to where, kids play multiple sports. So we'll be doing things without a lot of kids that's either in basketball or baseball. But that's okay, because they'll see each other going up and down the hallway, and we'll start trying to plug people in to where they're going to play for us and what they bring to the table, and see, can we put another good product on the field next year?
Well, that is a place where Eagleville has seen a lot of success in, additionally in those male sports is basketball and baseball. So, and it's good to see kids playing multiple sports. You've got some 2-3-star athletes out there.
We do, and it's good to watch kids be happy about doing it.
Sure.
And that's the whole thing about it. I think all of our coaches and all of our administration do a good job of working together and sharing kids and not trying to hoard kids just for one particular sport. And they encourage kids, if you want to play something, go play it. So I'm thankful that we're at a place like that. I'm thankful that everybody can work together, because at the end of the day, it's all about what the kids want to do. It's not about any of us adults. It's about giving these kids an opportunity to achieve all of their dreams and all the goals that they have athletically. So I'm thankful that we're able to provide that.
you are seeing Eagleville as a place that people want to come to and go, and it's just like every other place in Rutherford County. It's busting at the seams, and building a huge community like right across the street from the school.
It's growing, but the thing about it though, it still keeps that keeps that family atmosphere. So we're going to try to keep that, and we're going to try to improve off of this season, and hopefully we'll be able to do those things next year.
Well, in the football season, I have on Friday nights a texting buddy, right?
I'm aware of that.
Yeah. Well, now that football season is over, I'm pretty much aware that there is a huge list of things that you need to do at home.
Oh, hey, look, man, I've been playing with the dog all morning.
Oh, have you? I don't think that's on the list. I think there's, raking leaves and, some outside work that needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be something. I don't know if it's going to happen today now, okay? I can be stubborn sometimes, but so she ain't going to get much out of me today.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to your lovely bride, Kim Walker. Appreciate her helping out. Sometimes it's hard to, get scores at the, you pretty much play your games, away games, right, especially at the edge of the earth.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We were thankful for a short bus ride to Moore County, which was about an hour away. So, everybody on the bus like, gee, it didn't take long.
That's
to get
quick.
Yeah, it didn't take long to get here. So,
but I appreciate her and Tim Pettigo. He and whoever works on your Twitter, and I know he sends out some tweets and stuff, and it's we try to get out the information, especially on Friday nights, and make sure everybody knows what's going on, and appreciate you coming in every Saturday morning as well, and I'm sure we'll see you at some event somewhere along the way, Coach.
Oh, I'm sure you will, man. We thank y'all for everything y'all done for us. We really do appreciate our place. We'd like to thank all of our fans and the entire Eagleville community for all the support that they've given these kids over the last several months. We appreciate you. We can never, ever thank each and every one of y'all, but just understand that you're part of our football program, and our thoughts are always trying to make sure that we make our Eagleville community and Eagle Nation proud. So thank y'all.
Here he is, Floyd Walker, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles, joining us here on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Lascassas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, and farm supplies. That's Lascassas Feed Supply.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them, 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. For more than 30 years, my team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. Over that time, we've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the Law Offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
It's time to talk MTCS sports. It's Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA, live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
We're joined by Middle Tennessee Christian School coaches to talk about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. It's time to talk orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner.
All right, welcome into MTCS Cougar Corner this morning. It's time to talk MTCS football, and the head coach is with us this morning, Christian Peterson, and resounding victory last night, which after the first half, you were thinking maybe you had a little whiplash seeing players up and down the football field. Coach, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good. A lot of points in last night's game, 56-28, and a bit of a nail-biter early.
Yeah, so we made a couple mistakes early, so it was 14-14 and a half. Really, I think the conversation at halftime kind of walked in and just told them all, I was like, look, we're good. Just do what we do. Winning in the playoffs is hard. We know it's hard. It's okay. Go out, execute, do the same thing we've done all year. We're going to be just fine. I think the kids did a really good job. There was no panic in our locker room. It was, okay, let's just go out and win the next play. And, we were able to do that in the second half and came away with a win.
We were talking in the broadcast last night about what did Coach Peterson say. So we were in, it's very ironic that you led off with that. What had to be said, what inspired your team to come out, because you put up a ton of points last night in the second half, and it seems like some spark was ignited. So if you could pinpoint one or two or three things, what were those things that were the difference in that second half, do you think?
I think it's just settling down. We had the bye week, so first time going live in a couple weeks. And, it's a playoff game, so emotions high, everyone's excited. I think it was just, we got to halftime, and it's like, all right, we're good. We played a half. It went about as poorly as it could have gone, and it's 14-14. So we're good. Like, let's just come out, do what we do, and we're going to be just fine. And, the seniors really kind of took it over and was just like, guys, let's just go play football. Like, nothing else matters. Like, just go play our game, and we're going to be fine. And so they came out and executed and able to pull it out.
Well, you were able to really just run the ball at will last night, 433 yards rushing, and Eli had 249 of those with 6 touchdowns and on 27 carries, and Yates had almost 150 yards rushing with a couple of touchdowns himself. So that two-headed monster of yours that we've gotten used to talking about each week really came through, especially, as we said, the second half. You had 2 first-half touchdowns, but 56 points is a lot to put up, especially with most of those being in one half.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we did a good job up front. They gave us a look that, we haven't seen before. At this point, there's not many looks that, with a senior heavy line, there's not many that we haven't seen. This was one that we hadn't seen. So they did a good job coming to the sidelines, able to talk through exactly where they are, what they're trying to do, and then figuring out exactly how we wanted to attack them. And then, let our senior backs, Yates and Eli, kind of shoulder the load. And, Eli's been asking to, be that guy and shoulder the load and prove that he can do it. And I think last night he was able to prove to everybody that, he can get the ball, 25 times, 27 times in a game. And when we need him to do it, he can. And, again, just really proud of all of them. Again, up front, I thought we played really well. Yates completed a deep ball that got called back for holding. So, our passing numbers would have been a little bit higher with that one. So, again, I think
doesn't look like you're too worried about that, though. With the
no, again, for us, we want to throw it when we want to, and I thought we did that last night. I thought we executed. I thought we ran good routes. I thought we threw good balls. And it's enough that if we need it, it's there. And it's tough to throw the ball when you're running for 9 yards a carry offensively.
Yeah, I mean, 9 yards a carry, it was just a phenomenal night running the football on the A quick look at the defensive side, you had quite the quarterback to deal with in Josh Wright.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's big, he's physical. He ran hard. He threw a bunch of good balls. We made a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes in the back end, especially early. Where we didn't get off the hash quite quick enough, or we didn't sink in our coverage and things like that. It's little things that some of it's having the bye, some of it's a playoff game and the emotions were high, and it's a spot where we do have a couple younger guys there, and I think they were able to regroup, and I think overall they played pretty well. So we'll get in this week. We'll make some adjustments. We'll make sure we get it right. And, it's hard to win in the playoffs. Especially like last night we went into it, there's eight teams left. There's no bad teams.
Sure.
Right? Like they're a good football team. They scored 56 points the week before. They had scored 47 points a game over their last 5. And, we held them to 28, and 7 of those were a kickoff return. So really defensively held them to 21. So, it was a good effort. Played really well. Just we fixed a couple things here and there, and we're in a good spot.
Let me ask you a question about that, because, we haven't really talked a lot about bye week, and we're going to talk more about this game, obviously. But before I forget, 56-42, FACS beat Franklin Grace. So they put up 56 points, which ironically is how many you put up last night in the victory. Bye weeks, those can be tough. And I won't tell everybody what we were just talking about, because we don't even want to get into that discussion here on the show. But bye weeks can be tough. I mean, it's not like you're sitting around doing nothing, but when you got momentum, you just really want to play, I think. You can put the coach's spin on it if you want, and heal up and all that kind of thing. But, when the things are rolling pretty good, especially when you're talking playoffs. So, I don't even know if there's really a question there. But, FACS, they played, they won, they come into your place, they're kind of on a bit of a high. So, I mean, those kind of things happen. You have a lot to overcome, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's just we just got to handle it the right way. And I think we did. I think we had a good day of practice. You take a week off, you don't go full speed for a week. It's always going to be a little bit slower starting. But it's about understanding that, again, get to the next play. Just get to the next play. We're going to be fine. Just do what you do. We're going to be good. And, again, like, we did get healthier. We were able to, I think we dressed all but one last night, and he had or all but 2. Both of them have had surgery. So, like, they're not dressing. So, for the most part, it was good for us. But, I would always rather play. Just stay in your routine. Football players are kind of creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Other sports might play on a Tuesday, and then they'll play on a Thursday, and then they'll play on a Monday.
Football coaches are too.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And we always play on a Friday, right? So we practice Monday through Thursday, we play on Friday. Monday through Thursday, play on Friday. And so, like, I'd always rather play, but at the same time, sometimes it's a good thing just to get those couple days and get healthy, and then just trust your kids. They're going to go out and execute.
Yeah.
And they did that last night.
We're talking with Christian Peterson here on MTCS Cougar Corner this morning. Victors over FACS, 56-28 last night. The next opponent, by the way, is Columbia Academy. That will be at CA. We'll talk about that coming up in detail in just a few moments. More about last night's contest. Just a few more stats here that kind of stick out. Again, 249 yards on 27 carries for Eli Wilson. 6 touchdowns. Yates Guerin, 15 carries for 145 yards, 2 TDs, and was 2 of 5 passing for 11 yards. But again, 433 yards on the ground last night. Defensively, I did want to talk about Seth Harris had 14 total tackles, 1 for loss, fumble recovery. and a forced fumble. So that was a big point in the game. Eli Wilson and also it was Yates Guerin who had interceptions last night. So forcing turnovers was really big in last night's game.
For sure. We talk about it all the time. You want to win the turnover battle. When you're on offense, you want to keep the ball. When you're on defense, you want to take it away. Yates is one in particular. I think it shows the ability to go to the next play, right? So he was back there on punt return. He's trying to make a play. Ball bounces off his hands, off the punt. They get it. And, it would have been really easy to go out and now have to go play defense again. And all you're thinking about is, man, I just messed up. I just messed up the punt. Like, what do I do? And he just strapped his gloves back on and went out and ready to play and intercepts a pass like 2 or 3 plays later and gets us the ball right back. And so, again, I think it's what we talk about all the time. Like, it doesn't matter. If it could be a great play. It doesn't matter anymore. Right now, we got to go to the next one. If it's a bad play, it doesn't matter anymore. Let's go to the next play. Like, you can't fix it. You can't change it. It already happened. Figure out what you did. Don't let it happen again, but you got to go play the next play. And I think he was ready to go and play the next play, and it didn't end up costing us because he got the ball back for us right away and went back on offense and went down and scored.
There are redeemable moments in games, and you don't know how quick they come, and maybe it's not even that particular game, but, hopefully you have a redeemable moment, and that happened just a few plays later, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we talk about it too. Like, there's going to be 4 or 5 plays normally in a game that are going to decide the outcome. And the trick in football is you don't know when those 4 or 5 plays are going to happen, right? Like, you've got to be ready because it might seem like an insignificant down and something crazy happens, and that's what wins you the game. And
you might think those plays have already happened when they haven't yet.
Right. Yeah. Like, you never know. And really, you don't know until the game's over that, like, hey, that play right there was huge. And I think that interception was huge. They had a little bit of momentum. They just recovered the punt, and they were feeling good. And Yates goes up, intercepts the pass, and kind of gives us momentum right back. And again, like, it's just a big time play. Senior going out, making a play, and now we start trying to prepare for Columbia Academy.
Well, let's take a quick time out here, and when we come back, we will talk about the game with Columbia Academy. That's next up for the MTCS Cougars as we continue MTCS Cougar Corner here on News Radio WGNS Primetime Sports. Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
We're going to be an educational institution that teach Bible every day. Every subject we teach, we're going to teach through a biblical perspective. In every aspect of our school, we're going to do it through a Christian perspective.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
That also means that everything we do, we have to be excellent. We feel like Christ calls us to excellence. And so that means we have to be excellent academically. That means we have to be excellent athletically because that's what God calls us to. It's a great place to be.
Invest in your child's future in an environment that fosters Christ-centered values. To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
It's MTCS Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back here on MTCS Cougar Corner this morning. Our guest, Christian Peterson, as we talk about the MTCS victory over FACS, and we'll kind of move into their game with Columbia Academy. By the way, that one on the road. We'll talk about that here in just a second, but kind of put a lid on the victory last night over FACS. Coach, any final thoughts on the victory last night?
Again, just really proud of how our kids responded. There was again no panic in our locker room, which has kind of been the case all year. I think defensive line wise, thought we were physical. Thought we played our gaps. Again, not trying to do too much, just do your job. And they were disruptive. And then linebacker wise, kind of par for the course this year. Our linebackers flew around, they made plays, and Seth, Brooks, Heifel, Owen, really, Fox went in there for a few snaps. Like, all of them kind of flew around. They made plays, and again, they did their job. And so when they're flying around making plays, they're fun to watch. I don't know that there's a better linebacking group, top to bottom, than ours. I'd put them up against anybody. They're a good group who loves to play physical and enjoys that aspect of the game. And again, they're a lot of fun to watch, and they play hard and do their job.
Well, I'll give you a few stats on that group. Seth Harris, 14 tackles, 2 for loss, a fumble recovery. I mentioned him earlier. Jackson Highfill, 6 tackles, 4 for loss, a forced fumble. Brooks Jones, 11 tackles, 1 for loss. Owen White, 10 tackles, 1 for loss. So good night there on the defensive side of the ball. Can't forget that Yates Guerin interception as well, and the Eli Wilson interception as well on the defensive side. So, we talk a lot about offense, and you did put up 56 points, but, you held a team that scored 56 last week to just 28 and 14 in each half. So pretty good effort last night over FACS, and it's going to take every bit of that effort at Columbia Academy this week.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. Seth and I, Columbia Academy's coach, we've kind of talked all year. And, we talked leading up into game 1 and then kind of throughout the season. And, they're a really good football team. And they're big, they're physical, they're fast. Our first one went to triple overtime. And, I'm expecting this one to be a dogfight as well. Neither team's going to roll over. They're both going to play until the final whistle. And, I think both teams do things the right way. Seth's really done a good job over there of creating a culture. And, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a good atmosphere, and we're excited for it.
Coach, we were kind of talking about the bracket and how the bracket's laid out, and I'm sure there may be some folks just wondering, how in the world are the Cougars on the road? You were a number 1 seed. Well, so is Columbia Academy. So, and that was, the first game of the season when you played them. Just 3 overtimes, like you said. You won 33-31. That was there too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to kind of let folks know how that works is the higher seed host. So in this case, if Columbia Academy happened to be a 2 seed, they would be at your place.
Correct.
But if it's 2 number 1s in the quarterfinals or the semifinals, there has to be some way to determine that. And so even years, it's at the bottom of the bracket, the home team, it's predetermined, and odd years, which is this year, 2023, it's at the top of the bracket, and it just happens to be that way, and it happens to be Columbia Academy at the top of the bracket. And how they're at the top of the bracket, it's how the bracket was filled out. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a 3-year cycle.
Yeah.
Right, and 2 of the 3 years, you win your region, you get home field to the Final Four, right? And then there's 1 year where you would have to go play a different region champion on the road, and we're just in that year. And last year the winners were USJ and Friendship were the 2 ones, and the East had home. So USJ had to travel to Friendship, even though they won their region. The year before, it was the Middle in the West, and the Middle had to travel to the West. So it all just kind of rotates. So, again, just kind of how it fell. For us, just go play football. At the end of the day, it's a football field. It's going to be loud, whether it was our place or their place or whatever.
Still stripe it with, the 10 and the 20 and the 30, right?
It's all the same thing, and, we've already been there this year. And I believe that game started at 7. So for us, it's going to be the exact same schedule that we've already done before. We've been on longer road trips this year. So for us, it's just about it doesn't matter, right? Like, you're in the Final Four. Who cares? We'll play them in a parking lot, right? Like, I don't care. Like, let's just go play a game. Like, I'm excited that we're still playing, and whether it was home or the road or whatever, I just wanted to keep playing. And so now we just have to have a good week of practice and go try and win a game on Friday.
Well, you've had a few common opponents. You beat Friendship 16-14, and they narrowly lost to Friendship. Of course, you beat them in 3 overtimes by 2. I mean, you can get into all of this and look at those numbers. I mean, you're in the semifinals. It's going to be tight. I mean, is there a favorite? Can it go either way? I mean, it's the playoffs. It's the semifinals. Sure. You just have to go out and play your best.
Yeah, I don't look too much at common opponents and all that stuff. And again, kind of like you said, the semifinals. None of the other stuff matters, right? The only thing that matters is Friday night. They're going to be healthy. We're going to be pretty healthy, and put the ball down and, try and go win one play at a time and try and come out on top. And we got to remember that, we won the first one, but when that game starts, it's 0-0, right? And we don't get to start with a 2-point lead because we won by 2 last time. We've got to go out and we've just got to beat them. And again, they're a really good football team. They do a lot of things really well, and so we've got to try and take some things away that they do well. They're going to try and take some things away that we do well, and it's going to be what team can adjust to what the game plan changes are. When you play in a week 1, both teams are a little sloppy. Both teams had cramping, things like that generally isn't as big of an issue when you get to the semifinals. So, both teams are going to have a little bit deeper playbook as they get into it. So there's so many differences from the first game that we played them. Yeah, we know who their players are, but from a schematic standpoint, both teams are going to be a little bit different. And so it's about winning this game. And the last game, it doesn't matter, right? Whether we played them or not, we got them this week, and we got to win this week.
August 18th is a world ago in football time, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you figure the amount of days of practice that both teams have had, amount of games. You really, in week 1, you're still trying to figure out, what are we going to do really well? What are we not going to do very well? What do we need to focus on? What needs to be our play that we build off of? I think both teams are trying to figure that out in week 1. And then by the time you get to the semifinal game, you've got a pretty good idea of what you do well. You've got a pretty good idea of what they do well. And so then it turns into they're trying to take away what you do well. You're trying to take away what they do well. Yeah. And then you've got to get into, what's your answer? What's your next step? And so, again, I think it's just focus Monday through Thursday, have a really good week of practice, and come out on Friday focused and ready to execute and play football.
They've been putting up points in buckets lately. After back-to-back losses in September, since September 15th, their lowest scoring game was 27-21, but they've been putting up a lot of points. Last night's quarterfinal win over Jackson Christian was 48-41, so they had a bit of a nail-biter last night. What what are the top 2 or 3 things that they do well that you're going to have to defend against, you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're big up front. They're athletic up front. They're one of the bigger lines in our classification. They got Baldwin in the backfield, who's a really good running back. He'll get lost behind those guys every now and then. He's not very big, but he's really powerful and he's fast. He'll find a hole, and so it's about eliminating space. And then they've got a quarterback that can make all the throws. They got a couple kids on the outside that can run, and so offensively they're balanced, and we've got to be able to play run and pass. Defensively, they're very similar. I think to us, they're big up front. Their linebackers are really good. They were number 11's a really good player for them. One of their linebackers. He got hurt early in the friendship game. They were winning that game before he got hurt. He really kind of changes their defense, and he came back that Nashville Christian week, and you kind of saw as soon as he was back in that lineup, their defense was clicking again. And then those same receivers are at DB. So really, I think they're a very balanced team. They don't have a whole lot of holes. It's just about trying to figure out where our strengths versus their weaknesses are, and trying to exploit it. And then taking our shots when they're there, and again, making sure we do what we do. At the end of the day, it's about us. It's been about us every week. So we're not going to change that philosophy. I care more about what we're doing than what the other team's doing. If we go out and execute, we're going to be just fine.
Well, I know one thing. It's not that far. So, put on your orange and white. And I don't know what the weather's going to be next week, but if it's warm, cold, whatever it is, I mean, they make jackets for a reason and hand warmers if it is cold, and get out and go support the Cougars, right?
Absolutely. Come out, be loud, support the kids. They worked their tails off all year, and it's only our second time ever in the Final Four, and so it's a really exciting time to be at MTCS. There's a lot of programs doing a lot of really good things, and hopefully we can keep this train rolling for a little bit longer.
I did want to tell you something. When I was watching the senior night, when we came out to do that Thursday night game, something that caught my attention that I had never seen before. And I've been doing this is my 25th year with John, 30 years, I guess, in some form or fashion. So needless to say, I've been doing this for a while. It's the first time I've heard on a senior night, you have kids come out and you hear, 8 years in the football program, 12 years in the football program. I mean, you're taken aback, and it's like, how? And then you realize, Cougar Cubs, 5th and 6th grade and middle school. And it's pretty special. And just like all of those kids have been together so long. So they deserve your attention, and they deserve a big crowd at Columbia Academy. Only twice in program history have they been in the semifinals, and that's one step away from the big one. So, Coach, good luck down at Columbia Academy. We'll be cheering you on and talk about it next Saturday morning.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll do. All right, that's Christian Peterson joining us here, and just a brief look at the Cougar Corner schedule coming up this week. You've got some middle school JV and middle school games on Tuesday that will be at MTCS, and a little bit of a light schedule, but basketball is getting cranked up. Thursday, some Cub games that are going on. And, of course, as we mentioned, on Friday at Columbia Academy, 7 o'clock for that. We'll have much more on the schedule coming up. And, again, next Saturday morning, MTCS Cougar Corner will be right here on WGNS. Well, that's going to do it for myself and John. Thank you for joining us. For Dalton Barrett, our producer, I'm Brian Barrett. Have a wonderful Saturday. Don't forget to join us for MTSU football later on in the morning, or the afternoon, early afternoon, 1 o'clock. It's Salute to Veterans Day as they take on FIU. Have a great Saturday, everyone, and we'll see you next week.